Hi, I'm Dr. Janice Lusk, and I'm a sociology instructor in the behavioral science department here at Santa Rosa Junior College. Welcome to Introduction to Sociology, or SOC 1. Well, I have a much more detailed bio in the About Me section of the syllabus. Um, I'll give you some of the highlights. Again, my name is Dr. Janice Lusk, and I prefer to be referred to as Dr. Janice or Dr. Lusk or Professor Janice or Professor Lusk. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, originally. Grew up as a military brat for some of my childhood, and then grew up, you know, in really challenging environments from that point forward. I went to university at Mary Baldwin College, now Mary Baldwin University in Stanton, Virginia, where I originally went in for pre-nursing, and then decided to change to sociology after going back and forth several times between what I viewed to be something more practical, nursing, business, healthcare administration, to what I really cared about, which was sociology. I was urged to go to graduate school by my mentor and professor at Mary Baldwin. And so I followed my bachelor's degree with a master's and a PhD in applied sociology at Baylor University in Waco, Texas. Um, I've been teaching sociology since 2006, and I've taught at various community colleges, various institutions in the United States, but also in Japan, in Miyazaki, Japan, and in the United Arab Emirates as well. I spent 3 years in Japan and 7 years in the UAE, teaching sociology in both places. And I am married. I have 4 kids, a 10-year-old, 5-year-old twins, well, they're almost five, and then almost 2-year-old toddler. Um, and actually, 3 of my kids, the 3 youngest ones, were born in the United Arab Emirates. So, yeah, my kids are little global citizens as well. So when I'm not teaching, I like to read a lot. And I should admit that most of that reading is fictional reading. I typically, like use audiobooks for the nonfiction. Um, but if I could, I would only read probably fiction, and that includes YA, graphic novels, manga. So yeah, some guilty pleasures in there. I watch a lot of YouTube. I listen to podcasts, and I play video games with my kids. And I mean, I do other things with my kids as well. And with my husband, I like to travel. So yeah, uh, my office hours, you can schedule an appointment to meet with me by Zoom or face to face in Emeritus 1690 on the Santa Rosa campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Of course, you can contact me by email if you want to meet outside of those times and we can work something out. The best way to get in touch with me is via my email address, which is jlusk, JLUSK, at santarosa.edu. All right. And so, yeah, email is the best. You can call me as well, and that information is in the syllabus. But yeah, the best is going to be email. And so, yeah, come see me. I hope that you'll utilize those office hours. That's time that I set aside for you all, and that you will make an appointment and drop in. So, this course is a survey of several sociological theories and topics, and just provides a representation of topics that could be studied alone for an entire career or just a single semester. And so, we're going to be going through a lot of content in a very compact amount of space and time. We split the course into 3 overarching units. We start with the basics of sociological perspectives, so getting you to understand those general theories and perspectives that we use in sociology. And then we go into applications of these sociological perspectives when it comes to social interaction, socialization, deviant behavior, and things like that. And then we go into stratification. Namely, we're looking at inequalities like race, income inequality, wealth inequality, and sex and gender as well. We focus on topics that may seem familiar, um, but we use these perspectives that take those familiar topics and make them somewhat strange. And sometimes this can be uncomfortable or controversial. And while the text that we're using is US and Western centric, it's my goal to approach these concepts and topics through a global lens as much as possible. We're really going to focus on that sociological imagination and stepping outside of our learned and lived experiences and trying to understand the perspectives of others. And so there are a lot of learning incomes for this course, and you can see those in the syllabus as well. But the things that I like to focus on are helping to develop that sociological imagination, getting you to do a lot of critical analysis, and making sure that you can demonstrate an understanding of common sociological methods, and evaluate structures and policies of U.S. institutions using these methods. All right, so now I talk about accessibility and inclusivity in this course and also give some tips for success. So the number one thing here is that I want to have a space, whether it's in the classroom or my office hours, that is accessible and that is inclusive, or as much as possible for a sociology course. With accessibility, if you are differently abled or believe you have a disability that will need accommodations for this course, please make sure that you get in contact with the Disability Resources Department, or DRD, as soon as possible. They will work with you to arrange accommodations if you haven't already. And then you'll need to make sure that you communicate your accommodations needs to me ASAP, okay, or as soon as possible. As a person who is neurodivergent myself, I know how important it is to take care of those things early on. With inclusivity, this is a sociology course, and sociologists typically take a anti-racist, anti-phobia, anti-sexist, and anti-ableist view. And we encourage that sort of environment, and that's the setting for this course. You are welcome to have differing opinions, but you are required to be respectful and tolerant and not use any type of hate language or hateful ideas with anyone in this course or in communication with anyone in this course. So again, you can have your own opinion, but this course is grounded in fact and sociology and not in your personal opinions, okay? When it comes to my tips for success, the number one thing for me is to be prepared. Come to class prepared, on time. Make this course a habit. Give it your attention. Make sure that you're checking Canvas on a regular basis, that you have the alerts for the announcements set up or whatever you need to do. Come to class with paper and pen, a notebook, whatever you need. I prefer that you use paper and pen rather than using a laptop because it's really distracting. And I know that many people begin to see their attention go elsewhere when they're using a laptop in class, myself included. And so, yeah, come prepared, come ready to take notes and not just have the content wash over you. It doesn't, get absorbed by osmosis. Become a sociology nerd, force yourself to like it, even if you don't. It doesn't matter what your major is. Focus on the future, not the past. I'm really big on improvement and enhancement and focusing on future opportunities and how to become better rather than trying to negotiate your past mistakes and trying to reclaim credit that you have lost on previous assignments. I've been teaching for 17 years now. I've gotten really good at assessing. And so it's not easy to get me to change a grade or to give extra credit. I particularly don't give extra credit unless everyone has access to an opportunity for that extra credit and it's relevant to the course. And finally, plan ahead. You need to know all of the assignments for all of your classes ASAP. You need to know in advance when you have overlapping due dates and plan for those. For me, this is a big deal because, again, I'm also neurodivergent, like some other students. And so knowing where I am as far as what is due, what I need to do for all of the sections that I teach is imperative. And so I strongly suggest that you have a calendar that has every assignment across all of your courses, your work schedule, all of the things that are coming up in your life plugged in there already, so there are no surprises. For example, if you have an exam in one class and a due date in another class on the same day, that sucks, but it's your responsibility to make sure that you prepare for that and that maybe you submit your paper a couple of days early, or that you make sure that you are not studying for your exam at the same time that you're writing a major research paper. And so that sometimes means not waiting till the due date to submit things, but you won't know that if you don't plan ahead.